Hello friends, before starting our main topic, if you're interested on building chatbot with Python or Rasa open source, then you can join my course. There are different topics about Rasa open source with Python, different concept on Rasa NLU, building with your chatbots, advanced NLU techniques, Rasa forums, fallback and human, handoff, Rasa and MySQL database, deploying Rasa chatbot in Facebook Messenger with Slack and different sections. How you can, for example, integrate Rasa with Flask, front end, more on Rasa forms, creating Newsbot. Also, we are learning Rasa with OpenAI LLMS, with Cohere LLMS or model, and also with Google Vertex AI or Gemini. So if you're interested in this course, I have added the link in the video description and you can join that. Hi friends, I'm Parvez, and in this video I want to show you that how you can integrate OpenAI API, or we can say ChatGPT API, with Python programming language. Now before that, what you need to do, you need to install OpenAI. So you can just say pip install OpenAI. So now after installation of the OpenAI, now it will install OpenAI. What you need to do, you need to create an API key in openai.com. So now it's not free. You need to add some money in your account. So first you need to add your payment information, and after that, if I just go to the usage, now let me just show you. So let me refresh it. Okay, so now up in here, if I just go to the view monthly bill, and you can see I already have added $5 in my account, and it will expire on December. So now this is my usage. Okay, so now after that, what you need to do, you need to, after adding your credit card information, and for example I have added $5, okay, so you can add that. You need to just go to the API keys, and in here you need to create an API key. Okay, so you can just first you need to create a project in here, create a project, and you can just give the name of the project. After that, you can just click on create new secret key. You can click on this. You can just give a name. You can just select a project, what project you want, and also they have permissions like all, restricted, read only. And after that, you can just click on create secret key and it will be created. Okay, so now after that, what you need to do, so let me just okay, so now in here I want to also I have created a project in PyCharm. You can just click on new project. From here you can just choose the location. I'm using virtual env. Okay, and also you can choose the Python version, and you can click on create project. The project will be created. So after that, let's just create a Python file. Let me just call it, for example, chatexample.py. Okay, so now first we need to import OpenAI, and after that, what we want to do, we want to define our OpenAI API key. Okay, so I can just say OpenAI and API key. Okay, so this is the place that you can add your API key. For example, I have added the API key, so let me just add that in here. Don't worry, I will remove this API key. Okay, so now after defining our API key, what you need to do, you need to create an OpenAI client using the API key. So I can just say client, and so let's just say in here client OpenAI dot OpenAI, and in here we need to just say API key, and we can just add our OpenAI API key. So after that, let's just say diff chat with GPT, and we can pass prompt as parameter. Okay. Now in here, first what we need to do, we need to create a response from the client. So I can just say response client dot chat dot completion dot completions dot create. Okay. So now there are different parameters that you need to pass in here. So first you need to specify the model in here. Okay. Now we will talk about the model. Okay. So for right now, what we want to do, we want to use the GPT 3.5. So 3.5, and I can just say turbo. Okay. Also we have GPT-4 that you can use. So now this is our model. Now let's also add the messages in here. So in the messages, what we want to do, we want to define the system message behavior. Okay. And in here, what we want to do, we want to first define the rule. Now the rule is system. Also we need to add the content, and the content is for example, we can just add a behavior, and I can just say you are a helpful assistant. Okay. And now we need to define the user input. Okay, so we can give the role, and I can just say user, and also for the content. Okay, for the content we can use our prompt. Okay, so our prompt parameter. Now after defining that, what you need to do, you need to also it's not important, or it's important but it's not required in here, but we will talk about the temperature because it controls the randomness. I can just give a temperature of 0.7. We will talk about this in the later part of this video, or even we can say it's it will be like a course. Okay. After this, after defining the parameters, what we want to do, we want to extract and return the AI's response from the API response object. And we can just say return, and we can say response dot choices dot message dot content. Okay. So now after doing that, let's just say call our function. I can just say user input. And first we need to give a user input, and I can just say what is Python used for. Okay, so now we need to get AI generated response, and I can create a reply in here. We can call our chat with GPT function, and we can pass user input in there as a parameter. And let's print our reply. Okay, so now let's just run this, that it's working or not. So let me just run it. So you can see that Python is a versatile programming language that is used for a wide range of applications, including web development, data analysis. You can see that it's working, and there's no problem. You can just change this to, for example, we can say what is Java used for. Let's run it. So you can see that this is Java is widely used programming language that is used for a variety of purposes, including developing desktop applications, and you can see that our code is working. Okay, now in this section, we want to learn that how we can optimize the response quality when interacting with OpenAI models, particularly focusing on adjusting key parameters like temperature, max tokens, and others. We will also explore the process of choosing between different models. For example, I will not talk that in this section. I will talk about that in the later section. That, for example, we can use GPT 3.5 or 4 based on our specific use cases. Okay. Now, the OpenAI API allows you to control the behavior of the model's responses by adjusting several parameters. Now, these parameters can help you optimize the quality, creativity, length, and also tone of the generated responses. Now, these are some of the most important parameters that you can adjust. So, for example, the first one was the temperature that we already have saw. Now, the temperature parameter controls the randomness of the model output. Now, a lower temperature makes the response more deterministic, while a higher temperature increases creativity and variability. Now, you can add different values in the temperature. So if the low values is from 0 up to 0.3, now if you add these values, then the model becomes more focused and gives more predictable responses. And if you give high value, for example, we have given 0.7 to 1, then the model becomes more creative and the response may be different, for example, from each other. So now in this case it will not work, but if you give a good prompt, it will work. So for example, if I change okay, so right now you can see this is the response. Right now we have 0.7. okay, so if I run this again, now the response may be okay. You can see that there are changes in the response from that response. And for example, if I just give this 0.3 and if I just run this, and so let's wait. So this is our response, and if I just run it again, and okay, so we have the same response. Okay, now let's talk that when to use. Okay, so for example, use lower temperatures when you need more reliable factual responses. Like for example, you can if you want to create customer services or FAQs, you can use the lower temperature. But with the higher temperature, you can use when you want more varied or creative responses like brainstorming or storytelling. Then for that you can use higher temperature. Now another parameter that we want to talk, that is the max token. Now the max tokens controls the maximum length of response. It determines how many tokens or pieces of words or characters the model can generate. By setting max tokens, you can ensure the response does not get too long. Okay, so using that, for example, let me just comment, or we can just leave it this. If I give a max token, okay, so I can just say it should be 0.7 for example, and I can say max tokens. For example, if I give it 50, you'll see that we will have shorter response. Okay, so if I run this, okay, so you can see that it will be 50 characters. Okay, like this. So now this was the max token. There's another thing that's called top P. Now top P is another way to control randomness. Now similar to temperature, but it works by selecting the smallest set of tokens whose cumulative probability is above the threshold P. It's also known as nucleus sampling. Okay, so for example, let me just remove these two. We can remove it. For example, in here we can just give top P, and I can just give it for example not 9, 0.9. Now the low value is from 0 up to 0.5. It reduces the randomness. If you give 0 up to 0.5, then it will reduces the randomness and makes the response more focused. If you give high values like 0.7 to 1, then it increases randomness and creativity. Okay, so for example, if I just give it 0.9, then there will be randomness and also creativity in the response. Okay, so this is the first response. And if I run it, so you'll not see much. Okay, so you can see that if you check this, you will see the difference. But if you give a longer prompt, that okay, so you can see that now it's another one. There's random. So now let's talk about another one that's called frequency penalty. Now, the frequency penalty reduces the likelihood of the model repeating the same phrases or words. A higher frequency penalty discourages repetition. Now, you can give values between 0 and 2. Low value is 0. Now, no penalty for the repetition. High value is 2. Then a strong penalty for the repetition. For example, you can just say frequency penalty, and then here you can give this, for example, 0.7, or what value you want, you can just give it. So now let's talk about choosing between different models like GPT 3.5 or GPT-4. Now, when using OpenAI for response generation, it's important to select the right model based on your use case. Each model has unique characteristics that makes it more suitable for different tasks. Let's take a look at two popular models. We have GPT 3.5 Turbo and also GPT-4. Now, GPT 3.5, it has faster response times compared to GPT-4. Also, generally, it's more affordable than GPT-4. It's ideal for tasks that don't require extremely high accuracy or complex reasoning. Also, it's great for casual conversations, FAQs, and also general assistance. Now, on the other hand, GPT-4, it provides more accurate and detailed responses, particularly in complex or non-set topics. GPT-4 can handle tasks requiring better logical reasoning, long-form content, and intricate problem solving. But it's more expensive than GPT 3.5, so consider your budget. Also, it's ideal for example, for high-stakes tasks, detailed content generation, technical queries, or any task that requires precision and also advanced reasoning. Now, let's make our chatbot more interactive. So, first, what we want to do, first let's just add some error handling to our chatbot. And for this, what I want to do, I'm going to just copy this code. Let me cut it, okay? And let's just create a try block in here, and let's paste that in here, okay? Also, now we can grab the exceptions in here. So for example, I can just say except OpenAI.API error. If you have an API error, for example, wrong API key, then it will be triggered, and we can just say return. So return and API error. Okay. Also, we can just say except OpenAI rate limit error. For example, if you hit your limit, then this will occur, and I can just say return. So, for example, we can say rate limit exceeded. And for example, we can just say try again, okay? So try again, or like this, whatever you want. Also, for the general exception, so accept exception as E, and we can return if string, and let's just say an error occurred. Okay, so now let's just create, also let me print something in here that ChatGPT is ready, or whatever you want. ChatGPT is ready, and I can say type exit or quit to stop. So now let's create a while loop in here. So I can just say while true. Then what we want to do, we want to just create our user input in here. So a user input, and let's just we have our user input in here, and I can just copy this, cut this, and instead of this let me just say u, for example. So input, and I can just say u. So now if I can say if user input dot lower. So now in here we want to get the so in here we want to get the user input, and after that in here we want to check the condition. Okay, so if user input dot lower in exit or quit, then what we want to do, we want to just print that goodbye. So goodbye, and also we want to break. Okay, we want to close the, for example, the chat. In the else case, we want to just create a reply in here. So reply, and in the reply we want to just call our function, and we can pass the user input in here. Also we want to print the reply, so print ChatGPT, and we can add the reply in here. Okay, so now let's just run this and that it's working or not. Okay, so let me just say what is Python. So this is Python. Also in here we have a typo, we can just make it really. Okay, so if I say what is C++, let's hit enter. C++ is high level programming language. What is, for example, Java? So it's working. Let's just ask how to create a Python example. Okay, so you can see that this is the example that it has created for us. Okay, so now if I say exit, then it's telling that goodbye. In this lesson, we want to learn about implementing chat memory or context retention. Now, in a typical ChatGPT chatbot, each conversation is stateless, meaning it doesn't remember previous interactions. Now, this can make the conversation feel robotic or disconnected. However, by implementing context retention or chat memory, we can create a more natural and continuous conversation where the chatbot remembers past interactions. Now, how it works? The idea is to maintain a history of messages exchanged between the user and the assistant, and send that history back to the model to provide context for generating more accurate and also relevant responses. Okay, so right now if I say what is Python, so for example, and let's just wait. So it's telling that Python is a high-level programming language. If I say how to install it, okay, so you can see that I'm here to help you. Could you please specify that if you're referring to the information? Okay, now it doesn't know about what I'm talking. So now we need to bring some changes in the code. Okay, so first of all, in here, what I need to do, I need to bring this role system content from here. I can just let me bring this, and I can create a chat history in here. So I can just say chat. And in here we can add that. Okay, Okay, so like this. And after that, also what I want to do, so right now let me just remove these two. Okay, so also I can just use GPT-4 for example in here with this example like this. Okay, so after that we need to, so this is our response, and I can just say client completion, model is GPT-4, and let me also let's remove this also from here. And in this section, what I want to do, even in the previous example, we don't need that prompt. Okay, so we don't need that prompt. I forgot to remove that because in the previous example, we are using that in here. We are making interactive. So by this reason, you can remove that. You can just make it like this. So in here, we can just add chat history and the messages. Okay, and we don't need the prompt in here. Okay, we need that in this section, sorry, and here we need that, but in this section we don't need that, okay, because we want to use that in here. Okay, so in here we don't need, but we need to append that. Okay, yeah, so this is our try. So this is our chat history in the messages, we have added that. And also before this and here, what we want to do, we want to add user input to the chat history. Okay, so from there I want to add that in this section. So I can just say chat history dot append, and I want to append the rule that I had in here. Okay, so first I need to add the rule. So the rule is user, and the content is our prompt. So now we are done with this section, and after that in here, what I want to do, I want to say reply. So this is our reply, and we want to save our response in the reply. After doing that, what we want to do, we want to add the assistant's reply to the chat history for context. Okay, so now in here I can just say chat history dot append, and I want to just give the rule. So the rule is assistant and also the content is reply. So the content is reply. Okay, so now, so and then we need to just return the reply. So return the reply. Now I think we are done with this. We didn't need to bring any changes in here, and after that the while true, user input, if user, I think we are done with this. Okay, so let's just run it, that it is working or not. So let's just run this. So now if I say what is Python, okay, so you can see that Python is high level interpreted, and we have a response in here. Okay, so now if I say how to install it, so you can see that here's a simplified step-by-step process to install Python. Visit this website, downloads, click on either Windows or Mac OS. The website should be automatically. Okay, you can see that now it's working and there is no problem. So this was the last video for this, and please like and subscribe my channel for more videos, and also like this video. Goodbye.